Hi, I'm Colin from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is a handover of a 2008 Bessacarr E410. So as a start, we'll walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle first. The first point you get to is your freshwater filler. So what I would advise is you carry a hose pipe and some hose pipe connections. You'd use your little key, as this is a lockable cover, put your hose pipe in there, and then simply wait until it overflows out of the side of the vehicle and you know you've got a full tank, or you can see in increments how much water is on board on the main control panel. Trimmer cover, so your boiler's behind here. If you're heating your water on gas, the cover must come off, but when you're travelling you can pop this back on. So push down, thumb in the middle and take it off, but when you're washing the vehicle or travelling, like I've just said, it needs to stay on like so. You've got your mains connectivity point, so you get your hooker bleed, lift the collar, slide it above and hook up the vehicle up first. Push the blue clip down on the left hand side to pull the hooker bleed out. But always, when unhooking, detach the power source first and then the vehicle, and obviously the other way around when hooking back up. You've got your waste water, so this is anything you've put down the sink plug. It goes into a holding tank, and what you'll need to do is drive over the grid called the motorhome service bay. It'll be the grey waste deposit. You'd open it and it would drain out. You want to leave this open in the winter as well, so any water that's in there drains itself off and doesn't freeze in the waste holding tank. And then above, same key again, opens this locker here, which is your cassette loo. So ensuring that the grey lever is closed on the bowl of the toilet, which is the blade, you'll be able to lift and slide your cassette out. Should it be open, you'll not be able to get it out of the vehicle. Got a handle here so you can drag it to your waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside your shower and toilet block. You'd remove the cover, press this button, tip to 90 degrees and tip it out. Once you've tipped it out, there's normally a tap there, so put some water in via the spout, give it a rinse and tip out again. Then if you're using the liquid form of chemical, either the blue or the green, a cap full straight into here. The grey cap's the measuring stick, so cap full in there, straight into the cassette. Then if you're using the tablets, you put a pint of water in and drop a tablet in from the top of the cassette here. And again, they can either be blue or green. Green's more environmentally friendly, so it just depends what your site wants you to use. And then on the back, you've got your high level brake light. If you ever want a bike rack, these are your bike rack fixing points. And then you do have parking sensors on the bottom bumper. LPG, so again, same key opens all the lockers. And you've got your gas locker. This is just our test bottle. So to connect the pigtail to a bottle, you need to push it in, and then it is a left hand thread, so it's opposite threads with it being gas. So this is a hand tightened pigtail, no need for a spanner, so you just hand tighten it all the way until you simply can't turn it anymore and it connects properly. And then you turn it on at the top of the bottle. Always make sure you turn it off when you start travelling. And then you do have the straps here, so you'd strap the bottle in when the bottle is on board by putting this above there and putting the other strap on the other side of the bottle. You've got a crash valve here, so it's just a sensor, so you just push it in for 3 seconds once you've turned the gas on, and it'll allow it into the vehicle. Here you've got your underbench storage, so you'll notice you've got the carpet there, your leisure battery, your main battery fuses there, and you've got a power box here for your split charger. Diesel fuel only, so you'd use the key to open the diesel filler and fill with diesel fuel, and then it is lockable. Tyre pressures on the front, so 5 bar, which is 72.3 psi on the front, and 5.5, which is 79.5 on the rear. You've got a toolkit underneath the passenger seat, which includes a jack and a brace and a tow eye. Main engine batteries underneath the floor, so if you do need to get it out, it does ever need to be replaced, it's under here, so you drag it out through the cab floor, and your bonnet releases on the side of the dashboard. Got your steer here, and then you've got all your fluids. So you've got your screen wash at the back, power steering fluid, brake fluid, radiator coolant, engine oil, and then your dipsticks down here as well for checking the levels. You've got your paint code, and then should you ever need to jump start, you put a positive onto here, which is underneath this cap, and a negative onto there. So once inside the vehicle, this is your 12 volt control panel. So if you're hooked up, you'll get the little electricity line in the left hand corner of the time, which tells you you are receiving mains 240 volt. If you didn't have this, you would just have 12 volt off the leisure battery. At the top here, you've got your pump, so you can put this on if you plan to use water. So make sure you've got enough water in the tank first, but putting this on will pressurize the water to the shower, the toilet, and the kitchen sink. Underneath you've got your awning light, which is the light outside the vehicle. Then you've got one switch for interior lights, and you've got another one at the bottom for interior lights, which are all then individually switched, but you can turn them off and on from here as well. And then if you go to the tick in the middle, it'll then scroll through here, so it's saying your fresh is full and your waste is empty. You've got 14.3 volts in your leisure battery, which is the trailer, and 13.4 in the truck, which is the freight engine battery. That's the amperage going to the battery. And then here, this button transfers the power that the hookup's given to the leisure battery to the engine battery, should you want to charge the engine battery. You don't really need to do this. You've got your on off button here to turn the vehicle on and off, and that's pretty much about that. On the door, to lock it, you just push this catch back, and then as soon as you go for the handle, it opens and releases. And then you do have a blackout blind and the fly screen on the frame. There's a door. In your kitchen area, so you've got your fridge. So to operate your fridge, you turn on and off from here. This is a 3-way fridge, so it works on gas, electric, or 12 volt. When the engine's running, it's a feed off the alternator battery. So to change the source, so you can have it on auto, and the brain of the fridge will pick out the best source available at the time. So we've got a gas bottle on and it's open, but we've got hookup on, so it's known that not to waste gas, so it's when to hook up. If I was to take the hookup out now, it would go to gas and self-ignite on gas, but it does wait 20 minutes before lighting on gas. It's just a safety feature, so you would just have to manually put onto gas by pressing this button and waiting for the gas flame. And if I was to start the engine, it would send a 12 volt feed from the engine alternator to the fridge, and it turns it into a massive cool box, and it just keeps the temperature of the fridge the same until you arrive on site and you hook up or you turn back to gas. But with the battery setting, you would pre-chill the fridge beforehand for a day or two to get it down to temperature first. If you did want to manually put it onto any source without it being on automatic, just press this button. As you see there, battery failed, code 10, engine's not running. It's picking up no 12 volt feed. gas on its own, so the gas flame in it, you'll hear it clicking in the background, it's just self-igniting, and then here you do have your temperature. When you're finished with it for the season and you're winterizing, if you clean your fridge out, and then if you just leave your door open by pulling this little clip out of here, popping that in there, and it just allows air ventilation in and out of the fridge, and it'll stop any mold or bacteria growing in the fridge. You've got your microwave plug here in your cupboard, which is a mains microwave on 800 watt. That'll work on mains 240 volt. Cups and plate rack. Window at the back, so you just loosen the toggles off and then tighten the black wheels to keep the windows out on the stay. But you do have a blackout blind and a fly screen. 3 gas burners, 1 electric hot plate. So the electric hot plate's this side, only on 240 volt. I'm priming the gas through first. Before it will. So there you go, you just need to prime it through the lines before it will light. Once you get one lit, and we'll start following. So there's 3 lit gas rings. Allow them to cool before you put the cooker hood down, and below you've got your grill. And below your grill you've got your oven. You do have an isolation plug here for your hot plate, and then here you have your gas taps. These are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced. If you've got any problems with gas, turn off the bottle to be safe. And then coming into your wardrobe, you've got your telly amplifier, you've got your tree standing table, and then at the bottom you've got your trips on mains electric, and then you've got your items that use mains electric. So you've got your space heater, which heats the vehicle on electric, your water heater. So with the water heater, just make sure you've got enough water in the boiler and you can turn that on, and that'll heat on electric. So the cover doesn't need to come off on electric, but it does on gas. And you've got your battery charger here, which charges your batteries. So to operate your Truma fire, so it's a gas fire, so you've got 1 to 10 for the temperatures, and you've got a spark igniter. You'll hear it roar and you'll be able to see the flame through here. And then that'll light it if you are wild camping and you wouldn't be using gas. You wouldn't be using electric because you wouldn't have any, you would just have to use gas. And then on this side you've got a 12 volt assisted fan, so if you've got it off in this position here, in the middle, it'll come back up the front of the fire, or you can have it on A, which is automatic. It'll blow itself around the vehicle. 1 to 5 is the fan speed at the back. And what you'll be able to do is, once the thermostat in the vehicle picks up that it's got the temperature, it will cut out, or you can have it on manual, which is push it to the left, and you will have to manually intervene and turn the temperature up or down or off if you've had enough and it's getting too warm. So gas, 12 volt fan. You can use a 12 volt fan when the electric side's on as well, but most people when wild camping, they don't use the 12 volt fan because they want to save the 12 volt and they just allow it to convect out the front for other uses. Here you have your two controls. So you've got your ultra heat, 230 volt when hooked up, heats the vehicle. So off's in the middle. 2000 is 2 kilowatts of heat, and you've got 1 to 9. 9's equivalent to 30 degrees, that's just your thermostat. Or you've got 500, which is half a kilowatt, 500 watts. Or you've got 1000, which is 1 kilowatt. So normally on most sites, depending on what current they give you, through your hooker bleed you can use 2000, but if you're boiling an electric kettle at the same time, you may have to turn it down to half or 1000 kilowatt when doing this, so it doesn't trip the vehicle out. But normally you would just turn straight up to 2000 and that'll heat the vehicle on electric. You can by all means have the electric and gas on together if you are away in the winter and it was very cold, but this is quite a small van, so you probably wouldn't need to do that. It's more for the bigger vehicles. And then you've got ultra store, so store water on gas. This is where the cover must come off the outside of heating the water. And you've got 30 to 70 degrees of your temperature of your water, and you'd simply turn down to the gas flame and this will start to heat your water should there be water in your boiler. Behind the fire in the wardrobe, if you lift the board, is where you'll find the location of your Truma boiler. So this is a 10 litre boiler. Obviously in the winter you don't want that 10 litres to stay in the boiler and potentially freeze and break the boiler, because it's not covered under warranty and it's very expensive to replace. So to allow the water out of the boiler, there's a little blue pipe with a yellow toggle on the end. If you just lift that up and stand it up during the time you've got the vehicle in storage, come in, do it with no electric on so the pump's not kicking in like it is now, leave that stood up, all the 10 litres will drain out of there. You'd open the fresh, which I'll show you how to do, so in the middle, which is through the floor in the lounge. You'd open the waste from outside, and then you'd open all the mixer taps throughout the vehicle. Take your shower head off your shower and allow the hose to lie in the shower tray. But you'll also notice you've got two gas taps here as well, which is for your water heater and space heater. Any problems with gas, turn the bottle off. Like I've already said, these are mainly for when the vehicle's serviced. But please drain this down by using that. Otherwise, if it didn't get drained down and the water did freeze, it would crack all the pipes, it would crack the boiler, and it's very expensive to replace one of these. And you're looking at around £2,000 to £3,000 for one of these boilers. So now in the bathroom, to use the toilet, well, you've got to ensure that the pump is on first. Press your blue button here, you'll get your electric freshwater flush. Always flush the toilet first, which lubricates the seal on the blade and stops it going from hard and perishing. Then what you want to do is you want to use the blade and slide it to the right. Opens the blade, use the toilet, flush it after use, and then slide this along to the left, which seals the cassette and allows you to get it out should you need to get it out when it's full. And when it's full, you'll get a light on here which indicates that that is full. If it is, there is a float in the cassette, so if it ever does show full and it's not, you may just want to get the cassette out and give it a shake because the float has just got stuck. Toiletry cabinet, shower screens, make sure they're tied back before you travel. And the same with the screen here, which covers the toilet, and you get a showering space there. And then if you remove this and allow that to lie into here, obviously with the mixer tap open, the waste is open, so it would drain out straight through the vehicle. And then you've got a skylight which you can open like so, and you can put one end down or one side down depending on which which way the wind's blowing for ventilation. To drain your fresh off, if you lift this hatch through the floor, and then remove the nut from the freshwater tank, in there you'll see a red plug on a chain. If you just pull that out, that'll drain all your fresh water out directly underneath the chassis. So if you're taking on contaminated water, you're doing the winterize process, or you are just not using the vehicle for a while, you can just dump your fresh water. So to make your bed, you'd simply pull the slats out, so by pulling the seats faces forward, and then you just put your backrests in the middle, upside down, and turn your base cushions upside down, and then there you have your double bed. Like so. So now in the cab, which is based on a Fiat Ducato, you've got your handbrake to your right, your electric windows and electric mirror adjustments. So you've got two positionings for the mirror on each side. So top and bottom, you can adjust both from here. You've got your headlight adjustment, your wipers and your trip computer, which goes through your range, your travelling times, your distance travelled, and your instant and average consumption. Lights and indicators, and then you've got your 6-speed, or should I say 5-speed manual gearbox with lift into reverse, brings on the sensors, and then you've got your distribution, so where you want the air to go to, and whether you're bringing fresh air in or you're circulating air. And then you do have your temperature and your fan speed, and then underneath you've got your heated mirrors, rear fog lights, and you can lock and unlock the doors direct from here. And to black the cab out, you've got Remus cab blinds. So if you slide this one back and this one forward, and then if you push one up and push one down, it'll pop the blind out, and that'll black the driver and passenger door out and the main windscreen. Just stow away like so. And then please note, you've got to have these open when driving. You can't have one closed and one open, you've got to have both of them open. And then operate your radio. It's FM and AM. You press 1 to 6 to save your favourite channels on FM or AM. Scroll through them here, or you press SRC, it'll go to aux input, which is a 3.5mm aux cable, and to pop it out, you push it down, there's a CD, and to pop out you just do this and then take the fascia off. Always put the driver's side of the fascia in first, then the passenger side, and it'll pop in like so.